Hi everyone, I'm Cynthia and welcome to my space where everything is tickety-boo. I'm a licensed esthetician. I've been one for 10 years and I have awesome news. The new launch from Eminence is out and I've been waiting for this for a really long time. And here it is. Eminence has switched up the formulation for their sunscreens and created completely chemical-free sunscreens out of everyone's favorites. So exciting, so exciting. A couple of changes have happened though. The Lily Koi used to come with the primer with a blue light filter, and when they discontinued that, which they did, I wasn't too sad about that. But when they discontinued it, they took that blue light filter and they put it into their Daily Defense Moisturizing SPF, which is awesome, so that everyone who uses it gets that blue light filter. And they also changed the packaging, so it's no longer coming in a glass jar, it's coming in the tube, so it's super portable. They've also changed the SPF. It's now SPF 40. It used to be at most SPF 32. So you get your favorite sunscreens with a higher SPF. So the Red Currant still has the Youth Shield Complex in it. It's a lighter moisturizer that's great for oilier skin. And then the Bright Skin is a medium weight moisturizer. It has the hydroquinone alternative in it. So it's in between the two. So for most skins can use this, and it's particularly good for if you have hyperpigmentation. And then there's the Tropical Vanilla has been around for a really long time. It's such a well-loved product. And now it also is SPF 40 with no chemical sunscreen in it. So this is a much richer moisturizer. So my drier skinned clients really love this one. Now the reason Eminence made the change is that the state of Hawaii a couple of years ago instituted some legislation banning chemical sunscreens. The reason they did that is when you put on a chemical sunscreen and you go into the ocean, that sunscreen does and can wash off, and that chemical sunscreen kills coral reefs. So Eminence, knowing that Hawaii had instituted that ban on chemical sunscreens, switched things up, and now everything they have is a chemical-free sunscreen and SPF 40, which all my clients are going to be really happy about because everyone wants the higher sun protection factor. So yay, look for it. It should be available now. You'll see it. Just to note that there is a sport sunscreen in the Lily Koi line, and that is still available. Okay? So the other question that my clients have for me, now that the launch, yay, woohoo, is done, my clients often have a question for me about, well, what's the difference? Why not chemical sunscreen? Because it's shown to work. Why physical sunscreen over that? Well, there are actually a few reasons. A couple of things to know. How does a chemical sunscreen work? When you read the directions on a chemical sunscreen bottle, it says to apply that sunscreen 30 minutes prior to exposure to the sun. And there is a reason for that. It is not a suggestion. It is not, oh, well, if you want to, you might want to. It is, you gotta do it. It takes 30 minutes for that sunscreen to penetrate into the skin. The way a chemical sunscreen works is that you apply the sunscreen, you wait that 30 minutes, it penetrates into the skin. The sun's rays are absorbed in the skin with the sunscreen in the skin, right? So you have the sunscreen in the skin, the sun's rays come down, and they're absorbed from within the skin. The big difference with a physical sunscreen, like zinc oxide, is that you apply your zinc oxide sunscreen on, and it blocks the sun's rays. And some people have used the example of a mirror. It reflects back those rays because zinc oxide is really a metal. So the sun, you don't have to have the sun enter into your skin, penetrate your skin in order for the UV light to be blocked or absorbed. Huge difference between the two. I, for one, prefer that the sun's rays be blocked at the surface rather having to do their magic from within my skin. So that's the biggest difference, and a difference that my clients didn't actually really know about. Now, the other question that my clients had was they'd bring me a bottle of sunscreen, and it would have chemical sunscreen, and it would have like 3, 4, sometimes 5 different chemical sunscreens. And like, why does it have so many different sunscreens in it? Because I mean, is it better because it has more sunscreen ingredients in it? And the answer is no. It's still the same SPF that's on the bottle. The reason they do that is for purposes of formulation and to make it broad spectrum. So this is a really simple way I have shown my clients and illustrated to them the concept of broad spectrum sunscreen and in terms of chemical sunscreen. So let me move this over without dropping everything like I did before. Okay, so this is not the most scientific of explanations. The illustration is not the most scientific of illustrations, but it's going to give you the concept of the chemical sunscreens and what broad spectrum really means. Okay, so let's say that this is a spectrum of light, and I'll set the parameters here. Let's say from here to here is the spectrum of light, and that's the light that I want to protect everybody's skin from, right? So that you don't develop anything cancerous, right? Now, the reason they use so many sunscreens is this. One sunscreen, and it's all about formulation, right? When they're formulating, they're trying to decide what ingredients they're going to put into a sunscreen that will make it broad spectrum and that will play well together and will play well with the other ingredients that they put in, like the moisturizing ingredients, the hydrating ingredients, whatever antioxidants they want to put in. So it's actually quite complicated to do something well that stays on and feels good, right? So let's say, for example, they decide on one sunscreen ingredient. Like, okay, we're going to try this sunscreen ingredient, but this sunscreen ingredient only covers that spectrum of the light. So it's only covering one part. It's not covering the entire thing. And they said, well, okay, so now we have to choose another one. So, hey, this sunscreen covers this spectrum of light, and it's a good one. So we're going to put that one in there. And then, oh, okay, well, we've got another one that covers this spectrum of light, of the spectrum of light. And so they're like, hey, great. So we've got these 3 great ingredients that cover these spectrums of light. But you can see there are gaps in the coverage. And where there's a gap in the coverage, they need to put another ingredient in to close those gaps so that you have broad spectrum sunscreen, a sunscreen that will protect against the whole spectrum of light they want to protect you against, right? And this would be for a chemical sunscreen. And that's why you see sometimes multiple ingredients, multiple sunscreen ingredients in a bottle of sunscreen. Now the beauty of zinc oxide, let's take that same spectrum of light. The beauty of zinc oxide is that, magically, it protects against the full spectrum. So this would be zinc oxide. That's what makes it such an effective sunscreen. It's just one ingredient. Now, it's difficult to formulate with zinc oxide because it's very clunky. It's not the most elegant of ingredients, and it can be very chalky. So when someone can do it well, use it because this is super duper effective. And then 2, Again, zinc oxide reflects light, right? It reflects light from the surface of the skin, whereas a chemical sunscreen, the rays of light have to go into the skin for them to be filtered. So that's why I love a physical sunscreen. Awesome. Now, a lot of my clients have, I actually started switching them over to the zinc oxide, and now all these formulations are available, so you don't just have only the lilycoid, which I'm super excited about. With a zinc oxide sunscreen, it's a little bit different to apply. Now, in particular, this is the lilycoid, and you do not need a lot. Like this on this stick, it's hardly anything. In fact, it might be too much. You take a little bit of your sunscreen, and I always add either some water or some toner to get it to move. It emulsifies it and gets it to move, and when it gets it to move, it just applies more easily, right? See, that's a lot of sunscreen. And then what you do when you apply it is you kind of pat it on, and then you kind of connect the dots after. So it doesn't go on like a typical moisturizer, but it doesn't take much longer to just pat and then massage in. Now, some of my clients don't use the, don't emulsify it, but I always suggest it. You know, not only do you get the benefit of the toner, but it gets it to move and it sinks in really nicely. Now, the other question my clients have is reapplication, because more often than not, my clients do not want to take a jar of sunscreen and throw it in their purse. And they don't even want to take the tube, even though, you know, now the lilycoid comes in this awesome tube. A lot of my clients just don't want to do that. So the super easy way to take care of that, and I've been advocating this for many, many years, because this is one of Eminence's original, like, old school products, is a physical sunscreen in powder form. This is my own personal stash. This is their Sun Defense Minerals. Comes in a tube. You pull off the top. It has a brush. And you can see the sunscreen come out, right? So this is super handy to keep in your purse. So apply your sunscreen on in the morning, and then you can keep this in your purse and reapply every 2 hours. Just brush it on. And you're done. I have even had this in my car and felt like my arm, you know, because I'm driving along, and then my arm feels like it's burning, and I'll just take this out and I'll just brush it on my arm because I just don't want to burn. And that works. You can brush it onto ears, part of your hair, backs of necks. Kids love this. It's the easiest sunscreen you will ever apply on a child. And I have a couple of clients who do that. They get this because they don't have to fight with their kids about putting sticky sunscreen on. So that's really awesome. Now this color, if you look at the tone of my skin, this color is cherries and berries. There are 6 different colors of the Sun Defense Minerals. They have they're translucent, they're 0. And then they have honey apple. And the one that I use is cherries and berries, number 2. Number 3 is peaches and cream. It's a cooler, actually, color. This is for cool complexions. And this is the calendula spice. This is for deeper tones. And this is their cinnamon bronzer, which is really deep, but you can also use it as a bronzer. I love these. Super amazing for reapplication. So if you want, if that's been something that you've wondered about how to do easily, this is it. Each of the colors that Eminence has is for a broad range of tones on either side of that particular color. So it works for a wide range of tones. The other thing that I've been doing for years, and this is ever since my spa days, when I actually worked for a spa before I opened my own place, is I would take the sun defense minerals and I would add them to a moisturizer, because sometimes I had some clients who were allergic to chemical sunscreen. I couldn't use the tropical vanilla on them, so I had to find a way to create a sunscreen for them. The caveat, disclaimer right here, the caveat with that is when you create that is that you don't know what the SPF is, right? So you just have to be careful, and I would take one of these with you. So in my treatment room, I have my professional sizes of the Sun Defense minerals, and I can just get a sunscreen. In fact, I'll do it for you right now. This is actually the Coconut Age Corrective Moisturizer. Put a little bit in my hand, and what I would do is I would add some of the Sun Defense minerals to it, and when you mix it up, it actually creates a tinted moisturizer, which is really cool. And then you would just, like I always do with all my moisturizers, a little spritz, just to emulsify, massage, and then apply, right? You don't get ashy or anything from it, right? It's a really nifty trick, and Eminence does not sell the professional sizes of the minerals to the public. So what I do is I take you can get your brush, turn it upside down, unscrew the top. It's a very simple mechanism, right? Unscrew the top, and you can pour out your minerals into your hand and mix it with your moisturizer. So that's super easy to do. In terms of this particular, like I said, this is a really simple mechanism for the brush. A couple of issues, I guess, that my rep warned me about, is that when you initially purchase your Sun Defense minerals, it comes in a wood box, and you take it out. You pump it only one time. That's just to start it. If you pump it too many times, it's going to clog up the works. So just once. And when you put the brush up, because I actually have a lot of sunscreen in the brush, you should see that little puff? That means it's working. It doesn't have to pour out, right? And the way you adjust the amount that you want to have come out is, if not enough of the powder's coming out, you turn it over, tap, 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 right? To get the powder into the brush, and you see more comes out. If too much is in the brush, like the first time I did it, way too much came out of the brush, you turn it bristle side up, tap, and whoops, tap it, and then less of the powder should come up. This is a lifesaver. So, I'm super excited. I hope that the information I gave you was helpful. Go ahead and thumbs up if you think it was, or if you want to leave a comment for me. Everyone should know about sunscreen and what it is they're putting on their face, so I hope this was helpful. If you would like to order Eminence Organic Skincare, I do have an affiliate link. I'm going to put that link into the description for this video so that you can just click on it. It'll take you to the site, and it'll say you have chosen Tickety Boo as your spa, and you'll be able to order from there. Shipping is free, and it's any retail item on the Eminence site you can order. The only thing is they can't ship internationally, so this would be only for customers of the United States. So go ahead and try everything out. This is a great, just such an awesome way to help save the earth just by doing this one reformulation, and so I'm really excited. I hope you are too. And thank you for joining me. I'm going to try to do a couple more videos about the Eminence products, but I hope this was helpful to you. Take care and have a great day. Bye!